Good day, fine people. Welcome back to Full Bore Silver, Thursday, February 12th. Metal slam today, silver down almost 11% over the course of about an hour. Gold down, entire stock market's down. Pam Bondi tells me it's above 50K on the Dow. Not really, not today. The only thing up is Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman. Looks like we're going to war again in the Middle East, possibly this weekend. We'll be tracking that. Looks like silver is bottom wicking here, coming off 74.75, upwards of 76. We'll see. They can only slam it down so much. Again, kind of predicted this. Chop zone, a lot of volatility here going into the Chinese Lunar New Year. Looks like Vian Zhiming is doing pretty well on those shorts. Interesting bifurcation there with the precious metals markets. China wants gold up, going to a gold-backed currency with more talk of the renminbi going to a gold-backed system. They need silver at a somewhat suppressed price for the EV solar industries, all the manufacturing, the workshop of the world. They don't want to be paying 125 an ounce. They'd rather pay 75 an ounce. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we find out somewhere down the road that Bian Zhiming is some sort of proxy for government or industry in China, and he gets a bit of a slap on the wrist. It does seem like Shanghai Futures Exchange, Shanghai Gold Exchange, a bit more proactive with the spoofing, the wash trades, the naked shorting, the manipulation. Really, this whole system is built on trust. Nobody trusts the COMEX anymore, the Good Old Boys Network, the London Metals Association, the LBMA. The entire system in general is based on trust, and I only want to spend like 45 seconds on this, but if you saw the Pam Bondi testimony yesterday in front of Congress, it was ludicrous. She is an idiot. 70 IQ wine mom is the top law enforcement official in this country, obfuscating the Epstein details, talking about the Dow being at 50K, the NASDAQ, the SPX. I'm sorry, I thought this was a congressional hearing about the pedophilic elite and industry leaders in banking and government being a bunch of reptilian pedophiles, not the state of the overinflated U.S. stock market. I mean, it was beyond parody. I felt like I was watching Idiocracy, the great movie. This whole system is built on trust, and there is a flight from trust in general. A lot of people are waking up. It's probably the only upside of all this. The fractional reserve banking system, the COMEX BS, the overinflated stock market, this ridiculous government that we have that just goes and fights wars in the Middle East on behalf of a small country the size of New Jersey, which apparently controls everything in this country. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. Ron Paul was on Tucker Carlson. Talk about maybe the best politician ever to come out of the state of Texas since like Sam Houston or one of the old frontiersmen that founded the Republic. I mean, this guy, he's just incredible. There was a clip going back several years. I'll play it for you and see if he got any of these predictions right.
Mr. Speaker, our government intervention in the economy, the private affairs of citizens, and the internal affairs of foreign countries leads to uncertainty and many unintended consequences. Here are some of the consequences about which we should be concerned. I predict U.S. taxpayers will pay to rebuild Palestine, both the West Bank and the Gaza, as well as Afghanistan. U.S. taxpayers paid to bomb these areas, so we will be expected to rebuild them. Peace of sorts will come to the Middle East, but will be short-lived. There will be big promises of more U.S. money and weapons flowing to Israel and to Arab countries allied with the United States. Federal Reserve policy will continue at an expanding rate with massive credit expansion, which will make the dollar crisis worse. Gold will be seen as an alternative to paper money as it returns to its historic role as money. Military and police powers will grow, satisfying the conservatives. The welfare state, both domestic and international, will expand, satisfying the liberals. Both sides will endorse military adventurism overseas. During the next decade, the American people will become poorer and less free, while they become more dependent on the government for economic security. The war will prove to be divisive, with emotions and hatred growing between the various factions and special interests that drive our policies in the Middle East. Agitation from more class warfare will succeed in dividing us domestically. And believe it or not, I expect lobbyists will thrive more than ever during the dangerous period of chaos. I have no timetable for these predictions, but just in case, keep them around and look at them in 5 to 10 years. Let's hope and pray that I'm wrong on all accounts.
Yeah, so Ron Paul, perennial gold bug, he's the real deal. This administration, I mean, Pam Bondi's performance, good God. I give her a lot of credit for making people like Jayapal and Ted Lieu and Jasmine Crockett and Jerry Nadler look like intelligent, reasonable, sober people. I mean, these people are as bad as anybody else, but they're head and shoulders higher IQ than Pam Bondi was. What an idiot. I mean, just, I'm completely embarrassed by this government. I can't believe how far this country has fallen. This administration seems to be politically chained to an overinflated asset bubble in terms of stock market, and they lie about the job numbers. These recent job numbers, it's all healthcare, government workers, basically no manufacturing jobs. The economy is certainly in a state of duress. Ron Paul did have an interesting point. He remembered the speech by Richard Nixon came on one night, and he was sitting around the tube, 1971, where Nixon announced they were going off the gold standard, and that was kind of the light bulb moment for him. The Bondi hearing, it reminded me of the 2010 hearing. I don't know if you remember this. It was a Democrat from Georgia, Hank Johnson. I don't know, they had like a naval admiral or somebody. They were talking about U.S. military presence in Guam, and Hank Johnson legitimately says, "My fear is that the whole island will become so overpopulated that it will tip over and capsize." So you had a United States congressman, Democrat from Georgia, who literally thought if you put too many people on an island, it would tip over and capsize. This is the level of intelligence that you are dealing with the U.S. government at this point. These are the people calling the shots. It's a wake-up call for everybody. Build your community, become self-sustainable. Don't trust a damn word they say. Just incredible. We're going to continue to watch these markets. I took a little opportunity here to leg into a little bit more CDE, some core mining, forward PE of, I believe it's 12. So pretty low for a metals miner. They're a major, a lot of silver and gold and other base metals. That's all you can do on a day like this. I'm going to go out and play with the dogs and the chickens and just kind of shut the screens down for today. But that's your update for today. Thanks so much for liking, subscribing, sharing. We will talk to you soon. Full bore silver.